Hey everybody, it's Kirsten with Talk Travel Eat, and today I'm going to tell you about a few of the other countries we considered when planning our move abroad to Portugal. I'll go into a few of the pros and cons of each of those countries, but in the end, as you know, we're here in Portugal, and Portugal came out on top. Today I am at the Gulbenkian Gardens. It's a park near to our apartment in Lisboa. So if you come to Lisbon, definitely come check out this park because it's beautiful. There are a lot of quiet spots, and it's just such an oasis in the middle of the city. Okay, now moving abroad is no easy decision. We knew for quite some time that we were going to end up living abroad, not just because we love travel, but because the cost of living in the United States was just going to be too much for us to afford during retirement. So over the years during our travels, we also considered whether places would be good for retirement. So I'll go over the countries by region, and at first I'll start with the countries we considered in Asia. Now we love traveling to Asia. We've just had some of our most incredible trips there, and the first country that we really seriously considered, and this one was probably at the top of our list in Asia, is Thailand. The first time we visited Thailand together, I fell in love with it. Mark had visited Thailand before while in the military. Now the thing about Thailand is we knew we could count on good food. The healthcare available in Bangkok is pretty good at the private hospitals. We knew we could find modern lodging, and it was going to be pretty much the best of both worlds, the big city, but then you had the beach location. Now, the visa process in Thailand is pretty straightforward, but what they do require is that you literally check in with immigration every 90 days while you're in Thailand. That seemed a bit cumbersome, and they also wanted the commitment to leave 25,000 to 30,000 US dollars in a bank account during your residency there, and we thought that was a little bit of a heavy commitment. One of the upsides and downsides about Thailand, depending upon your point of view, is the weather. Now, I love that hot tropical weather, but it gets really hot there. We're talking almost 100 degrees Fahrenheit with just about that much humidity. So while I love the idea of that on vacation, I don't think I would like it year-round, full-time. So, pros and cons of Thailand. Pros, obviously the food, the cost of living, easy visa process. The cons would be the immigration check-in every 90 days, and the weather, even though the weather is a little bit of a positive. So, the next country we considered in Asia is Cambodia. Now, we visited Cambodia on vacation and absolutely loved it. Just the people are nice, the food is good, the cost of living is incredibly low. Obviously, a downside to Cambodia would be its lack of infrastructure as well as its lack of health care. Yes, obviously there's health care in Cambodia, but not necessarily the quality of care that we're used to, and most foreigners moving to Cambodia are known to fly to Bangkok should they have a serious accident or illness to get that health care. I think why we really looked at Cambodia seriously is one, it was one of the only countries allowing travel during the pandemic, and two, our love for it based on vacation. Cambodia doesn't really have a formal retirement visa scheme. What Cambodia does have is a business visa scheme, and we would have been able to enter on that. Now, the third place we considered in Asia is Vietnam. Now, we've actually never traveled to Vietnam. We've planned trips a couple of different times, but either couldn't get enough time off from work to make the trip worthwhile, or we just ended up going somewhere else instead. So we are fascinated with Vietnam and look forward to traveling there one day. When I research Vietnam, I really get excited about Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi. Obviously, we have a love for big cities. It just looks like there are so many modern conveniences there. A downside again would be healthcare. It would not be the quality that we're used to, and again, many foreigners living there often fly to Bangkok should they have a serious accident or injury. So those were the Asian countries we considered. There were probably a few more on the list, but cost of living probably made them prohibitive for us. So let's scoot on over to Central America. We considered Panama. Now, Panama, as I'm sure a lot of you know, has a really attractive pensioner scheme, a retirement visa that they offer. And with this visa, they offer a ton of discounts for people coming in on this visa. The process is fairly straightforward. We have never traveled to Panama, and I just couldn't really get excited about the idea of Panama. It looks great. Panama City looks modern, great beaches. It kind of has all the things that we like, but I just couldn't get excited about it. And I've never really been excited to even travel there on a vacation, so that's why it kind of took a back seat. Maybe I'm completely wrong about this, who knows? Maybe we'll make it there one day and I'll think, oh my goodness, Panama, wow, I should have given this a closer look for us. But really, it just didn't take off anywhere during our research. The next place in Central America that we considered was Costa Rica. Now, we have not been to Costa Rica. We tried many times to plan a trip there, but in the research and planning, again, I just couldn't get overly excited about it. I mean, growing up in San Diego, we have beautiful beaches. We can get to the mountains. There just wasn't a real draw there while doing the research. And also, I think it might be a little bit more expensive than it appears to be. One of the challenges I found with the limited research I did do on Costa Rica is that it seemed like the major areas were very far away from each other, and the infrastructure doesn't really provide that excellent transport network that we're used to and that we were really looking for as part of our destination. Costa Rica offers a very straightforward visa, but again, my heart wasn't in that. The pros with regard to both Panama and Costa Rica are the weather. You know, they have very temperate climates, which we love. And another big pro for those two countries would be their proximity to the United States. That was one of our considerations when considering where we wanted to land. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about two other countries that we seriously considered here in Europe. The first one is our neighbor, Spain. Spain has its non-lucrative visa. The process is very straightforward. We looked into this quite a bit. We were thinking about moving to Valencia, Spain. But just in the end, weighing Spain against Portugal, Portugal came out on top. The other country in Europe that we seriously considered was France. We love France. We've been to France many times. We really looked closely at its visa process. It's very straightforward. What made us decide against France really was the type of lifestyle that we would want to live would be beyond our means in France. We just couldn't afford to move to France. That really was the deciding factor. We would have wanted to live in one of the bigger cities, Paris, Lyon, Bordeaux, and we just simply could not afford it. So the last country I'm going to talk about that we very, very seriously considered is Mexico. Now, obviously growing up in San Diego, a border town, I'm pretty familiar with Mexico. Growing up, I can neither confirm nor deny that I would go down to Tijuana on the weekends to go to the clubs. Come on, the drinking age was 18. What can I say? Anywho, during the pandemic, Mexico was probably the only country letting people travel there. So in late 2020, we actually did a trial run in Playa del Carmen, Mexico. And when we first got there, we absolutely loved it. Mexico, it seemed like an obvious choice. Its proximity to get back to the United States, easy. The food, hello, Mexican food every day? Yes, that would not be a problem. The cost of living, definitely in our wheelhouse. And Mexico, there is a lot of variety. We went to Playa del Carmen, which is one of the more expensive areas in Mexico. Also, a pro or a con, depending upon where you go in Mexico, is the weather. Now in Playa del Carmen, again, we were met with that tropical, beautiful weather, but we were also there during hurricane season. And if you check your almanac, in 2020, there were 2 hurricanes and 1 tropical storm, probably within about 2 weeks. And we experienced all of those, okay? We have no experience with hurricanes, and I'll just leave it at this. I don't ever want to have to experience another hurricane if I don't have to. So here's the thing about Mexico. When we first got there, everything was great because we were in a lockdown. We felt very safe. Obviously, crime is a consideration in Mexico. You hear all the time about cartel crime, just all kinds of crime in Mexico. So we felt safe when we got there, but again, we were in lockdown. Slowly, as we moved towards the high season, things started to change. More people started coming in. More people wanted to be on vacation that had been locked down in various places around the world. There was that. So what there also was is this feeling of not being safe. Now, growing up in San Diego, we were very fortunate to live in an area and be in an area pretty much our whole lives where safety was never really a concern. Obviously, as we're older, we do not have as many fearless bones in our body as we did maybe 20 years ago, but safety was never something that was really at the forefront of our minds until this time in Playa del Carmen. I never went out of our apartment alone, okay, for the entire few months that we were there. It just wasn't safe, and we never really went out at night. Again, it wasn't safe. We'd hear stories about people getting shaken down by the police. I mean, this is right in the center of town, right in the middle of the tourist area. It just really made us uneasy. So obviously we left Mexico. It was a good trial run for us because the visa process for Mexico is very straightforward and very easy. Now, as a US citizen, you can go to Mexico for 6 months without a visa. However, we had the intention of staying, so we got the residency visa. Very easy, very straightforward, very fast. So those are the other countries we considered before moving to Portugal. Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Panama, Costa Rica, Spain, and France. Portugal beat all of those countries hands down. Let me know what you think about this video. As always, I appreciate you watching. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel, I'd appreciate you hitting that subscribe button. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.